you ever taken your eyes off of something that was really important and focused on something that maybe wasn't quite as important? I told the story here before about the time that Gail was giving birth to our first son, and I became distracted, and I missed a set of contractions because I was watching the Cubs game. It's a great game. They won an extra innings. But I haven't told the story about bringing my son home for the first time. Now, normally when you bring your child home for the first time, this is a joyous occasion. This is a happy occasion. You remember it for the rest of your life. I do remember it, but not because I was bringing my son home. You see, we brought Sam home on April 12th. Sam was a little late. He just kind of wanted to hang out. He didn't want to come on time. He was a couple days late, so I had tickets to the opening series of the Cubs and Pirates on April 12th, the day we were supposed to bring our son home. And Gail and I talked about the night before. Well, why don't you get up a little early and then come back, and then we'll be out of here probably by 9. Great, that would be awesome. So the day, April 12th, that I got up, I got ready, I came back, and the nurse was in the hospital room. This was about 8:30, and I said, "Nurse, what time do you think we'll get out of here?" She said, "Oh, no problem. We'll be out of here by about 9:30. Now, if you've ever been to a hospital, and they tell you that you're going to check out at a certain time, you must add at least 2 hours onto that time. Can I get an amen? Amen. Nurses, I'm not blaming you. It's just the way hospitals roll. I know we have some nurses. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that's the reality of life. So anyway, she said 9:30 rolls around, 9:45 rolls around. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I'm starting to say, honey, I got tickets to this Cubs game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take you home. Like, nurses would come in and I'd be like, "Nurse, when can we get out of here? Because I got tickets to the Cubs game." Doctors would come in. I'd say, "When are we going to get out of here? I got tickets to a Cubs game." A janitor came in and I said, "Hey man, when do you think we're going to get out of here? I got tickets to a Cubs game." And 9:30 comes, 10, 11, 12, finally, 12:15. The nurse comes in and she says, "You ready to go?" And I jumped up from my seat and I said, "Yes." And I grabbed my son and I started to head for the door. And the nurse said, "You can't take him." She said, "Don't you want your wife to be wheeled out in the wheelchair and we give her balloons and we do this ceremony?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be wonderful." But I got tickets to a Cubs game. So anyway, finally got her in the car, finally had my brand new son in the car, and we're getting ready. Normally it's about a 4-minute drive from the hospital to where we live. I think I did it in 45 seconds flat. Pulled up to my apartment. My mom was waiting on the stoop, and I grabbed my son out of the car and I went up the stoop and I said, "Oh yeah, Mom, by the way, can you help her?" My wife, who was just giving birth to this child, ran up 3 flights of stairs, set my son down on the coffee table. My dad was there. He says, "Oh, can I hold him?" I said, "No, we got tickets to a Cubs game. And you and I are going." I'm taking my dad to his first Wrigley game. So my dad and I run out the door, we catch the bus, we get on the red line, we make it to Wrigley Field. In the top of the 4th inning, the Cubs were losing 7-2. We're sitting there in Wrigley Field, wind chill's about 38 degrees. I look at my dad in the 5th inning, and he's sitting there kind of doing this. I say, "Dad, what do you think?" And he says, "I think I'm miserable. I've never been this cold in my life." We left in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Cubs were down 10-2. Now, that day should have been an awesome day for me. That should have been one of the most special days of my life because we brought home my son. This little teeny tiny miracle, we brought him home. Because Lord knows there ain't no miracles happening over here. But it wasn't. I have one memory of that day in Sam's in my house for the first time. When I set him on the coffee table, the dog barked, and I thought that was cute. That was the only memory I had because I was so focused on a stupid baseball game that I missed what was really, really important. So today's first reading from Numbers, we have the Israelites out in the desert. And the Israelites are doing what they're always doing in the Old Testament, especially the first couple books of the Old Testament. They're complaining. Whenever we see the Israelites, they're complaining about their present day situation. That's just kind of what they do. That's kind of what I do sometimes too. But they're complaining, and they're complaining about their present situation. They're complaining that they have no food. They're complaining that they have no water. And God hears this, and God sends serpents. And all of a sudden, serpents are crawling around down by them, and people are getting bit, and people are dying. And all of a sudden, the people realize, "Oh my gosh, I've sinned. God, please forgive us." And so God commands Moses to make this bronze serpent and to lift it up. God tells the people, "Look upon this, and you will be healed." Now, We, of course, don't have serpents crawling around on the floor. I think this room would be very empty if that was the case. And most of us don't have snakes crawling around our house or outside our house or at our work. We don't have actual snakes. But I think we do have things that if we take our focus off of what's important, if we take our focus off of what God has done for us, we do have things in this world that will bite us. We do have things in this world that will affect us in a really, really deep way. So we may not have green, long, slithering snakes on the floor in our world today, but I would contend to you that we do have something that competes for our heart, that is green. It doesn't slither, it folds. It places in our wallet. Now, on the count of 3, would you indulge me, please? And everybody, please uncomfortably shift in your seats and take one of those long breaths. I'd like to talk a little bit about money. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I got some daggers last night. But anyway,